Okay, so are you ready for a banter? But
Yeah.
but chat to me like you actually enjoying it, yeah?
Yeah, you tell me
Okay.
that, and then I'll go in and say that I'm really enjoying this banter. Let's get into it, right?
Okay, come closer, please.
This is not forced. Come on, come on.
You two should be a comedy act. Never
See,
mind
We
podcast
are,
or on the
but
big
this is
stage.
thank you.
this is partially comedy,
Yeah,
this
it's good.
podcast, so it's all good. I always tell him be funnier because
Okay.
he's so funny, but when we record, he's very sometimes,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
just show your
Funny side, right?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Be ready, Marlyn.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm
I
ready.
know you're on the edge of your seat. Let's just.
I'm ready to go.
hello, this is Ivana,
This is Yao,
and you're listening to the podcast Life in Black and White.
and all the shades in between.
We share all things life, relationships, marriage, parenting, race, and much more. If you enjoy listening to us, then please follow or subscribe to this podcast. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook under Life in Black and White. Hello, my friend, and welcome back to another episode of Life in Black and White. Every time I say this sentence, I laugh because I look at Yao.
Because I'm
And
just ready to jump in and
Yes.
say,
So, yeah, welcome back.
welcome back, everyone.
Oh, wow. I didn't even have to say something. So
No,
that's a progress.
I'm just getting ready to be funny.
Okay. Yeah, I
Okay.
just a few minutes ago, I told Yao to actually be funny. Not that he isn't,
But I need to practice and.
but he's much funnier behind the scenes. And I would like for our listeners to actually get to know that side of you a bit more.
Just mention to the guests that I need to find the right times to be funny. So be ready. Be ready for all the funniness that I'll bring to the show.
Actually, speaking of funny,
It's so bad, right?
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Go on.
It's not Chandler's funny, but you're getting there.
Oh,
It's Monica's colleague, funny.
and look what happened to her.
Yeah. Speaking of funny, I would like to say hi to Yao's ex-colleague, Adam.
Oh,
Do you know what, Adam? I think I met you only once. Yao always tells me that you are the funniest person in the world. And I
Wow.
really think we should have you on. So this is my personal invite to you.
really?
Yep.
So we're putting out into the ether, into the
Yeah,
world.
yeah.
That I think that Adam's the funniest. I didn't
That's
say
what-
he was the funniest. I think I said
Okay.
it was like really, really funny.
Okay.
But now you realize how many friends that I've got who also think they're funny, and now I'm just gonna get a barrage of, "What do you mean I'm not funny?
At least we'll get feedback.
Oh my
So that's it's very intentional what I'm doing here. So
Okay.
Adam, please reach out. We'd like to have you on.
don't. Please don't.
Don't do it.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. Let's just leave it there. Thank you for listening to our little bit of banter, and I appreciate that.
Okay.
Right.
Let's move on.
Let's
move on to our guest, who is more interesting than our
banter.
that is not forced at all.
Oh,
So
go on.
today we are speaking to the amazing Marlyn Baxter, who is the director of the lovely company Ageless Companions, and I work for them as well. I'm very proud to say that. They make a huge difference in the world for adults, for vulnerable people. It's a hard word for me to pronounce. I apologize. And for unpaid carers and much, much more. So we would love to let Marlyn to introduce herself and the company. So let's start with you, Marlyn. Let's just start with the hi. Yeah.
Hi.
No pressure, but hi.
No pressure. I had too many questions at once. I apologize. So, hi, Marlyn. How are you tonight?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. Thank you so much for being here. So, like I mentioned, you run a very, very special company. So, let's start at the beginning. Tell us about you, about your background, and how it all started, and why.
So I used to work within the Fife Health and Social Care Partnership for about 22 years. I was a self-directed support officer where I supported people who were disabled and who employed their own staff. The council decided to change our jobs, which was, to be fair, it was starting to affect my own mental health. So I took the decision to start the company up. So I left that job after a whole 22 years and set Ageless Companions up 6 years ago. Just after I set up, COVID then struck. So it was quite difficult because we had just started the company up. However, 6 years later, we are supporting 310 people in Fife, and I employ 156 staff.
Wow.
They are all called companions. There's a difference between companions and carers. Our staff don't actually do personal care. So what we do is we go into people's homes, we sit and have a chat with them, we can play games, watch telly, sing songs, or we can take them out places. We can go shopping, we can go garden centres, go for a coffee, just to get people out the house. And it's all client led, and it's all what the client wants to do.
Wow.
So we're
I
very
would
busy.
like, yeah, sorry. I would like to know what led you to do the companionship in particular. Why not carers? Was there
Well,
a particular reason?
yeah, the clients that I used to see within social work, they all had carers going in. But the carers just didn't have enough time to sit and have a chat with some people, and that's what they wanted. So even my own gran, when I went to see her one night, she was sitting in her house with the home carer, and they were just sitting having a chat. And in those days, the home carers were allowed to do cleaning, and that was what she was there for. But my gran would rather have the chat than have her clean.
Yeah.
So I always knew as well, some clients that I used to go out and see, I used to like make my diary free for that afternoon because I knew it wouldn't be a quick visit, because I might have also just been the only person that they see from one week to the next. So, the experience I had with the job in the council and obviously my gran, I just thought, there is not a market for this, but I think there's a need for it.
Yeah.
And with the companions, we don't do personal care, so we don't wash people, we don't toilet them. It's just purely companionship,
Yeah.
and that's what people want.
Wow. How did it, so you said like it started just before the COVID, and I
Mhm.
think it helped, no, with this service.
Yeah, I think COVID actually it let people realize how isolated they probably were, but didn't
Yeah.
realize it.
Yeah.
We had to furlough quite a lot of staff, but there was a few where we kept the staff on because it was for people shopping, and we were the only way that they could get their shopping. So we would just drop it off at the door. But I think we got busier after COVID because,
Yeah.
like I say, a lot of people realized how isolated they actually are.
Yeah. Of course.
Some people have family, but they might not stay, near them.
Yeah.
They might stay in other parts of the world, or they have family that work. And we can provide a service during the day, and they could maybe go in at evenings and weekends to see their loved ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, COVID definitely was a benefit to us, really.
Very
Um,
highlighted.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
But isn't it sad in a way that this service is needed in the first place? But it
yeah,
is needed. It's very needed.
yeah,
But it's sad in a way, no, isn't it?
yeah,
But that's just in this day and age. People are,
yeah.
unwell. They're
And
lonely.
sometimes we can make the difference of someone going into a care home. So if we've got a person who's got a disability and they need looked after 24 hours, we could go in and give their loved ones a little time to themselves. And if they get those couple hours to themselves, it could mean the difference between the person staying at home and actually going into long-term care. So to us, it's just a few hours, but to them, it's actually a lifeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as I say, we can sit with the person or take them out. It just depends on what the client's looking for.
Yeah. Wow. How did it feel to start such a, it must have been something new for you at the time. Must have been scary.
It was very, very scary because
Yeah.
I had a permanent and secure job. I had been with the local authority for a long time. So giving up that, so it actually started, I started the ball rolling whilst I was still in social work. And then, as I say, I left because the job changed and it wasn't the job that I had. It was a job that changed to sitting behind a desk, and I'm a people person, so
Yeah.
it was affecting me as well. And I thought, do you know what? I'm going to have to take the plunge. The kids were a bit older, and my husband has a full-time permanent job as well. So I just took a gamble and
Yeah.
went for it.
Wow. Wow.
So,
And I know you support people 18 plus, but
yes,
the majority of your clients, although it sounds weird, clients, no, isn't it?
I know.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, they're clients. So are the majority of them, are they seniors?
Yeah, most of them are, because there's a lot of them, as I say, have family that maybe don't stay local. So even if it's just going in for an hour and just sitting having a cup of tea and a chat with them, it's breaking their day up. Or sometimes we take them to appointments or shopping. But it is predominantly elderly people that we support.
Yeah. And is it, in your experience, what's the most needed in terms of like, is it people reach out, the clients themselves reach out, or is it the family members who need a
Um,
break?
it's mainly the family members. We do get referrals from social work,
Right.
but not. We get a lot of referrals through NHS staff as well. But a lot of them are family members who feel that their mum or dad would require some support. We do get a couple of people that have referred themselves, but yeah, it's mainly family or NHS or social work. So there's quite a mix. There's quite a mix of people who can refer, but anybody can refer.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So company, you've run the company for 6 years now, you said, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure you must have experienced so much during the 6 years, and I'm very curious because I love old people and I love listen to the stories. They're so what's the word? Not underestimated, underrated. Yeah. Often they feel dismissed, invisible, and I think that's just wrong because they have so much experience, so
Yeah.
much to say, so much to teach
Yeah.
us. This is what I would like to talk about as well. That is there anything new you learned thanks to this job?
I've learned to have a bit more patience,
Okay.
definitely. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
must be, yeah.
it's hard. It can be hard sometimes if you're going into someone. But actually, because I cover shifts myself, and I actually love it because there's so many different people that we support, and they've got so many different backgrounds. I had a gentleman who was a geologist, and he actually said to me, Marlyn, have you ever been face to face with a volcano? And I was like, no. So he told me the story about how he had. And then about 5 minutes later, Marlyn, have you ever been in a helicopter? And I was like, no, I've obviously led a sheltered life. And then he told me about the story where he was in a helicopter. And then the last thing was, Marlyn, have you ever been face to face with a lion? And I was like, a live lion? And he went, yes. And I was like, unfortunately not, no. But I bet you have. And he went, yes,
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah.
So it was so interesting, this gentleman, because he had such a lot of stories to tell, and he had photo albums that he went through with me, and I think he enjoyed it as well because he said to me, he actually said to me, so are you coming back to see me tomorrow? And I went, no, unfortunately, it's somebody else. And he went, well, if you're passing any time, just pop in. I went, okay.
Oh,
So I think he enjoyed speaking about it, because
yeah,
he's got a family, but they work.
yeah,
So yeah, so I think just a different face for some people.
yeah,
It's nice, although it's the same person, because what we do is we match up our clients with our staff, and the staff have the same person each week, so that there's continuity. So there's trust built up, and then they get to know them, and we get to know the client, sort of thing. So
yeah,
a continuity for people is very important, because they can get carers coming in, and they might be getting carers in 4 visits a day, and it could be different people each visit.
yeah.
And a lot of people don't like that. They
Of
like the
course.
same person all the time. So
Yeah,
that's what we always keep it to the same person as well. But the stories that you hear, and that's why, like, patience. I mean, when I used to go and see my gran, it was as quick as I could do stuff, and then, that was it, I was away. But actually sit and actually listen to people,
yeah,
I
Mm.
realised, God, they are so interesting to listen
yeah,
to.
exactly.
And they've got so much good stories, and they've had such good lives, most of them. It's just, it's just so interesting. So,
Yeah, and they just don't give. They don't care now
oh,
about. And I love
mm,
that. And I think we'll all get there eventually. It's
yeah,
funny because when you are born as a child, you don't care. You just happy with, yeah. And then
yeah,
when you are old, you at the same point,
yeah,
you just don't give a care and you're just
yeah,
happy, you know.
yeah.
And I love that about them. And why do you think that this is maybe a question for all of us? Why do you think old people feel invisible? They get dismissed by society and they're not valued enough. Yeah. And
I
that's
don't
just,
know. Probably people, no patience again. They've
yeah,
no, because I mean, elderly people, they take their time. They're older. They don't do things as quick as what
yeah,
youngsters
yeah.
do.
And they're
So.
not supposed to, though, no? It's
No,
just,
I know, but some people just don't have that much patience, I
yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Especially this day and age, rush, rush, rush all the
yeah,
time. And then,
everybody's busy. I know,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
hard.
yeah. When I am with clients, I enjoy the the slowliness, yeah, of it.
Yeah,
Actually, they help me to slow down, and I love
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah,
Getting out of the house slowly at the scarf and it's
yeah,
like, oh, what, this is nice. Yeah,
yeah,
I don't have to rush kids quick, 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 quick. Yeah,
yeah.
so
And
yeah,
they
I
always
see
love
that.
to have tea and coffee in the house for you, and biscuits and cakes, and
Yeah,
they're so kind. They're all so
yeah,
kind as
yeah.
well.
Of course there are people and people, right? So I'm sure during the 6 years, running a business like this, you must have come across, let's say, challenges. Yeah. um
Oh, definitely. I had one lady who told me to leave because she thought I was trying to steal her husband.
oh my god, are you kidding?
No, he was 95, and he was sitting in the chair next to her. He was half asleep. And she was like, you just want rid of me so you can have him all to yourself. And I was like, no. And I just
Oh,
said, I've got a husband. I don't need another one. It's fine. But she didn't think there was anything wrong with her. And I think that was half the problem. So we were going in to give her husband a bit of a break. And it was like, why is he needing a break?
oh,
I can look after myself. I don't need
yeah.
anybody to give him a break. And then he actually turned round to her when he woke up and said, if you don't give me a break, you will be going into a care home. And I was sitting there going, oh my God. So that's how
Oh,
stressed the gentleman was,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we've got some client, one told me last week that she couldn't even go to the toilet without her husband following her, because
Oh.
he just wouldn't leave her side. And it's so sad.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, so there is some challenges, and we've had a couple where they've got sons and daughters, and one's got power of attorney and one hasn't, and then they argue, and then they're on the phone to us, and we're like, I can't speak to you because you don't have power of attorney, and then the brother and sister are arguing, and we're in the middle of it, so that can be quite challenging as well, actually.
Yeah,
So it's a bit tricky sometimes, but we get through it.
yeah, of
Just
course.
have to.
it's for the client, isn't it? At the end of the day, what you want to
Yeah,
do is make sure that they have the best
exactly.
experience and things that they can kind of have.
Yeah,
And, yeah,
it's their best interest. And a lot of older people as well, if they find out, because it is a chargeable service, so if they find out that they're paying for it, they don't want it. But the power of attorneys are like, it's okay, we'll pay for it. We've got the money. They've got the money there. It's fine.
yeah,
But just sometimes I'll have to go into a house and I've been told not to mention anything about money because the minute they find out they've got to pay for it, they don't want it, even though it would change their lives
Wow.
completely. The
yeah,
thought
That's
of parting
interesting.
with any money is like, no. So,
That's interesting, no?
yeah.
that could be just depending on your age and obviously how
Yeah.
you've kind of grown up.
Yeah, your beliefs and
Yeah,
it's so
some cases,
engraved in you, so it's
yeah,
hard to,
yeah,
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess. But then, do they change their minds, or they just say no? I don't want to.
Well, I did have somebody who thought it was a great idea, and she was well up for it, and I did all the paperwork, and then the son phoned me the next day, and because he'd said don't mention money, so I never.
Yeah.
And at the front door he said, look, I'm power of attorney, so I'll pay for it. It's fine. Don't worry about that. And then he went back in the house, and his mum must have said to him, so how much is this costing? And he had to tell her, and she went, just phone and cancel. But she was so up for it when I was in the house, but because there was money involved, she was like,
yeah,
"Just cancel it." And he was like, Mum, you can afford it. You've got money there. There's no point, I'd rather you enjoyed life just now while you're still here.
yeah,
I don't need the money.
yeah,
And she's like, nope, just cancel it. So we had to cancel it. So
Oh, I
it got
think.
cancelled before it even started, but
Oh, I guess like especially older generation, they are not used to looking after themselves and invest in themselves. It's always like give, give, give. Don't be selfish. Yeah, think
yeah.
about others, and
mm,
it's too late to change that. Maybe.
But sometimes it's the bigger picture where the family, like some families have rotas, and one goes in a Monday, and it's to give them a break as well. But they don't realize that. They just think it's their duty to go in. And so it's very difficult with older people because they don't like change.
Yeah.
yeah,
For a start, we've had some people that have been resistant, but then they actually love it. And then
yeah,
they increase the visits to maybe once or twice, from once to twice a week,
yeah,
and then they actually look forward to it. And one lady actually said to me, my companion is actually better than any medication. And I was like, oh my goodness, that is just so,
Wow.
you just couldn't make that up. But
Yeah.
that's how happy she was with it, and that's how it made her feel. So it's just
Oh,
sometimes resistance to change. They don't like change, and fair enough. There are people that
yeah.
don't like change, but I think it's just the thought of someone coming in the house as well that they don't know, and they've got to get used to it. So it can be
Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah. And it's a new service now, fairly, because I've never heard about that before. But it might be just me. But is it?
countrywide
Yeah,
or
we know
Yeah.
you covered 5 in Scotland, but is this
Uh,
something you've heard of before, or was it your idea?
There was one befriending service in Glenrothes, but the waiting list was quite big and still is. There's a couple of other places that have started up, but they're registered charities, and they use volunteers. Um, so
Right.
again, they have waiting lists because they don't have staff, whereas we don't have a waiting list. I've got staff ready to go,
yeah,
but it's a chargeable service. And
Yeah.
that's the difference. But no, there was one main one, England office set up, but there's obviously the demands just increased
yeah,
dramatically. So and we're not a charity. We are a registered company, and staff get paid, so that's why I have to
yeah,
charge clients for the service. But
Yeah.
we don't have a waiting list. People just, they get seen within about 2 weeks, and then allocate someone within a week or two after that as well. So
Yeah.
it's really quick.
Mhm.
If you're enjoying this podcast and want to support us, we've made it easy. You can contribute with a small one-time fee or choose to become our monthly supporter. Every penny goes directly towards helping the podcast grow. To learn more, please check out the link in the show notes.
Just curious. So you said that you worked for about 20 odd years in that kind of social kind of aspects and things.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you've had a bigger positive impact in what you do now, or is it just completely different? You know, is it like apples and pears and things, or
I
what's
think
your?
it's helped. It's definitely helped with the work that I did.
Yeah.
I mean, I worked in social work for 22 years, but
Oh.
within those 22 years, I worked in criminal justice. So that was a completely different client
Yeah.
group. I also did, I was a social care worker working with people with learning disabilities when I was 18. And then I went to do Camp America straight after college, and I worked on a summer camp with people with learning disabilities then as well. So I've worked with different client groups, and I was actually shocked to find out that actually the client group I like the best is working with the elderly, and I didn't think I would actually think that. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But this so that I think having a wide variety of working with different groups has helped as well.
Yeah.
And the knowledge that I've got on how the Fife Council works, how finance works, how paperwork works, and also about self-directed support, because I was an SDS officer, so I could also pass that knowledge on to clients as well about self-directed support and all the options. So that's also helpful to them as well.
Mm. Have you thought about expanding to different locations, or maybe
Let me
not?
conquer Fife first, please.
Yeah.
Good
No,
luck.
I know, but I've been asked that quite a few times because, there's like Dundee, and there's who else has contacted us? Falkirk, Edinburgh. At the minute, I've only got enough energy and time to concentrate on the 156 staff and 300 boards
Of
got.
course,
So
yeah.
I would obviously have to employ other people to do that for me, but yeah.
It's a big
Maybe
step.
in the future, but not right now. I
Not
just
right
need
now,
to
yeah.
concentrate on Fife. So
Of course. How does it? I always wonder, how does it feel to employ that many people?
I know I sometimes think to myself, why have I done this? Because that is actually the worst part of the job, is managing people.
Of course.
I'll be honest with you, it's not the clients, it's actually the staff, and I've got great staff, but if they're off sick, if they're on holiday, if there's any disciplinary, if there's, just whatever, it's a lot of work. And I've got to see them for supervisions, and I can only do that once a year. Because if I was doing it that's all I'll be doing the whole time. So managing staff is actually, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the staff that I need to manage, but when they're on holiday, we've got to sort that out. When they're off sick, we've got to sort that out. If there's any wages wrong, timesheets wrong, there's so many things that you've got to deal with when you're managing staff. That's the most difficult part, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, of course. I can imagine. Hats off to you, I always say, because it's just, oh, wow. But you have to have the personality for that, I think. Otherwise, you go crazy. Not everyone could do that. I think you couldn't, Yao, because you
I what?
you couldn't do it.
I can do it.
No, because you overthink and you're too hard on yourself. So I think you would just go insane.
My husband couldn't do it either because he'd sack everybody. I wouldn't have a company left, and he knows that. I've already said that to him. Honestly, it's like he would just no. You have to have a lot of patience to do that.
And to just let go when you need to let go. No, otherwise.
And I'm so glad I don't drink alcohol, because I would probably become an alcoholic.
Oh, you don't? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
amazing.
I don't touch the stuff.
Wow.
But I'm glad I don't, because actually I think I would probably be on the wine every night. But
Yao doesn't drink either. So
I do not.
Yeah.
No. They're just Scott. My husband doesn't drink either. And it's ironic because we met in a pub and then none of the two of us drink. How weird is that?
I love it.
Hello, hello.
Connections.
That's amazing. I
Yeah.
love that. I do
Yeah.
drink, and I love to drink. So I feel like so it's difficult in a relationship like that because I feel like an
Yeah.
alcoholic whenever I drink at home on my own. Like, you know,
That's all
it's
right.
just weird.
That's
You
all
got
right.
used to it now, no?
Yeah.
I just eat. Food's my comfort, I'm afraid.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
that
just
as well.
eat. Yeah,
That as well.
unfortunately.
I love food.
Yao
as
is
well.
foodie. Yao
Yeah.
is a foodie. Oh my god.
Yeah.
There's always room for food.
See that spark in his eye.
Yeah.
Just mentioned the food.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
good.
See, I'm happy now.
Yeah. You
You're
just think
happy
about
now.
food.
Yeah.
And he hasn't even eaten the
Yeah.
dinner yet. So, and I'm impressed
Oh, have
how
you not?
nice you are.
And she says that I don't have patience.
Ah, okay.
You've got 3 kids. You have to have a lot of patience having 3 kids,
Exactly.
by the way.
You
Exactly.
do.
2's
you
enough
do.
for me. That was fine. That was fine. Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Now, I think once you raise children, you have patience for
Oh,
anything. You know?
definitely.
I think if you
Yeah.
hadn't had children, perhaps it would have been different for you. Maybe, I'm just
Yeah.
thinking like maybe now I could achieve more than before because there's
Mm.
nothing worse or nothing more difficult, I think, or harder than raising the kids, especially when you're,
Mm.
And trying to work. I mean, I
Yeah.
worked full time when I had my 2. There's 3 years between them, but I went back 6 months after each one. But I was privileged because Scott's sister was a childminder, so she took.
Oh, brilliant.
So they were going to family, so which
That's
was.
nice.
But yeah, it was hard though. I couldn't have afforded to work full time because
Yeah.
the child care
Too
cost
much.
would have
Yeah.
cost too much. It wouldn't have been worth working.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember those days and all the school holidays that you had to get covered. Now they're 20 and 17, so I don't have that problem anymore. But
you have different problems.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Which we won't go into on here, but yeah.
2 minutes later, they're just going to come charging through, right? Mom.
Speaking of little children, I think that it's similar to companionship. No, you need someone to help. I mean, when
Yes.
you're an unpaid carer, you need
Yeah.
help.
Yep.
It's not babysitting, but it's very similar. No, there are lots of similarities. I just realized. No,
Yeah.
when we talk about children, and
I'm just wondering where this is going.
no, that's all.
I'm just taking a couple of steps ahead and just, oh, by the way,
We don't do companionship for children, Ivana. Remember that.
I'm just saying, just be ready. Just be ready that some things might come out of the woodworks and things.
When are they 18?
Exactly.
Like companionship for children is babysitting,
Right,
so
okay.
it's all
Yeah.
good. Child minding,
Yeah.
yeah, child minding.
Exactly.
So,
Yes.
but is this similar? Just say yes.
Okay. This is all the banter, isn't it?
Oh my
That's
goodness.
not forced, yeah.
No,
It is. No, I was gonna say that it is the future. We have to be realistic. Companionship and this similar services this is the future because more and more people or children. I mean, when you're an old person, you have children. Often they move abroad. Like, look at me. Yeah, this wasn't the case in the past.
where
Yeah.
people used to be a lot
Yeah,
closer.
a lot of closer.
Yeah.
And I think in this day and age is becoming more and more needed, this kind of service, and it's gonna be even more needed. Yeah. So this is the future.
Thing is, people are living longer as well. That's the other
Yes.
thing.
Exactly.
That's the main thing as well. People are
Yeah.
living longer, and I've got there's a few people we support, and like they've lost all their friends, and then they're maybe the last one out of their family that's still here as well because they've all passed away as well because they could be like in their 80s or 90s, and that's the reason that they're in this situation of loneliness because they've no family, and all their friends have passed, and their family, so it's quite sad.
Yeah.
To see that sometimes, but it's through no fault of their own that they're in that situation. It's just because they've gotten older, and everyone around them's sadly gone or whatever. Sad.
Yeah.
There's something there to, really kind of impact, someone in such a positive way,
Yeah.
that they, like you were mentioning before, that they, they get excited when they know.
Yeah, look forward to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
benefit. I'm just thinking then, because it's such a personal experience. So do these, say a companion and a client become so close that they take it maybe further or than just the service, and they become friends, and they maybe hang out outside of the hour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a bit difficult because then there's boundaries that have been crossed.
yeah.
It's very hard because the people we support do get attached, and they do call the staff their friends. They will then try and get my staff's phone numbers, and our policy is no. But again, it's very hard for you not to get attached to someone
Yeah, of course.
as a worker. But there is boundaries that you have to abide by, because if not, it can get you in a lot of trouble as well. That it could open you up to all sorts of things, which has happened to a staff member actually. And yeah, it wasn't a good experience for the staff member. So we have a clear policy on, like, the main thing is not giving out personal numbers. Everything has to come through the office because they can get attached to the person. They could phone them out of hours. They could be getting phone calls at midnight, come and get me. We can't have that. We can't have staff doing that.
No.
But it's a job, but also, and I get attached to people. It's just natural that you will get attached to the people you support, and they will see you as family as well. Some of them do see you, and their family actually have said, your staff members like family to us as well, because they're so nice and they're so good, and that's nice to hear as well.
Yeah,
of course.
But there are boundaries there, and there needs to be boundaries, because at the end of the day, it is a job for the staff member.
It's hard though, no, to keep where is the line, because
It's
you want to
hard.
be their friend,
Yeah,
the job right, but at the
Yeah.
same time there is a boundary. So that's
Yeah.
a tricky one, isn't it?
It is very tricky.
Yeah.
Especially if you're put in a position by the person and they're like, could you not just give me your phone number just in case I need it? Or, where do you stay? I want to send you something. Because we'll sometimes get phone calls and it'll be like, if my staff member said they've got a birthday or something, or somebody's passed away, the clients will phone and say, I want to send such and such a card, and we'll say, well, just send it to us and we'll pass it on, because we don't give out information. Because, as I say, it can be nicey, but it could also change like that into not nicey, which one of my staff has been put through. So again, I think she learned her lesson as to, you don't go when you're not meant to go. You don't do things that you're not meant to do either, because it got her into trouble, and she had consequences from that. So, but she's got a heart of gold, and I know why she did what she did. And she did go above and beyond, but it kind of not backfired, but
yeah.
So we have to be careful. But it is hard. I have trouble with it as well sometimes.
Yeah.
You can't not. If you don't care, you wouldn't be doing the job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's part of the person.
Yeah.
You must have been through that throughout your years and things, especially with some of the things that you've done and some of the things that you've been involved in. You must, having that kind of professional kind of objective kind of space and things, that must be a very hard kind of skill to kind of have, and that resilience that you need to kind of have in, things aren't great, right?
Yeah. And you've got to just think it's a job at the end of the day. And sometimes it's hard. I mean, a few people have actually followed me from social work to my company, which has been good. We built up such a good relationship when I worked in social work. And when they heard I was opening my company, they came over through social, so that was good as well. But again, there's a very fine line, and you've just got to watch, because people can get attached if you pay someone a wee bit of attention, and and then a wee bit more attention, and they just kind of latch onto that sometimes, and then they can get too attached. I mean, I've had one lady tell me that she loves me, and I'm like, oh my God, it's very difficult, because you want to say, you want to be nice and not kind of dismiss that, but it's very hard when someone puts her arm around you and says she loves you, and I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, you have to be very careful. But it is hard. It is hard.
But it's not a bad thing. I see it as a nice thing, yeah. As long as
Aye,
then
yeah.
yeah.
Aye.
But it's
Again, we wouldn't be doing this job if we didn't care anyway. So
yeah, of course.
But it's just some people have maybe been that lonely for such a long time that the minute they've got someone coming in, they just kind of latch on and just depend on them a wee bit more, and each time more dependency, and it can get a wee bit overwhelming sometimes. But the staff are all good, and if they have concerns, they know that they can phone the office, and we'll help them through it.
Yeah. Oh wow. Hats off to you for doing this, and it's such an amazing service. I know we said that already, but it's the future. It is the future.
It's the staff that make it. If I didn't have good staff, I wouldn't have such a good team and a good reputation, because it is the staff that makes it. Because I couldn't physically go around everybody that we've got myself. 300 odd clients for one person. So I needed to get a good staff team, and that's what I've got. So it's the staff that actually make it successful as well.
Wow,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Do lots of people apply for this job?
Yeah, well, we put an advert out last week, and I think we had 58 emails in the first day.
Wow.
And we're still getting phone calls. The phones just went all week, which is really good. And I'm doing interviews on Monday for some more staff as well. And I'll be doing more, which is good.
Amazing.
But yeah, it was just, the advert went out and it just exploded.
Wow.
And
It's
some
great that people want to do this. That's great.
Well, that's it. And there's a lot of people that have applied. I've got a lot of ex-carers, and I've had nurses apply as well that are retired, which is great, because they've got so much experience. Even although they still have to do the training required, but they would do that, standing on their head. But it's nice to get people like that who have actually got great experience. And there was a lady that came on board, and she was a mental health nurse at Queen Margaret, and she took early retirement. And a consultant at the Queen Margaret actually told this lady, you need to phone Ageless Companions, and you need to ask for, say Mary, because she's excellent. So that was from a consultant that was referring and telling the woman to phone us up and ask for, the staff member's name. So it's so good. It was nice to hear.
You've got to be proud of that, right?
Yes.
Totally. That's what I'm saying. It's the staff are great.
Oh wow.
Wow. You're so touched.
Well, I like that.
Yeah.
When you were talking before about some of the elderly members who have such amazing enriched lives, and you just see them, you have that thought that they're there and it's just there, and you want them to kind of have these moments where they can tell the stories. Have you met a lion? Have you met a lion? No, I met a lion in person, and you're like,
yeah, I know.
How many people would
they
have
love
these,
sharing that? They love sharing.
Yeah.
How many people have these stories and things, right? And you don't want it to just kind of drift away. You want to be able to have the situation where you've got these and they're shared. With the
you
wider
should
world.
write the book. Ageless Companion story, like client stories or something. See? Yeah, why not?
Well, we've had a client that's written a book. Actually, he was a professor at a hospital. and he actually wrote a book. I can't see you're not moving anymore. Your screen
Oh,
is
I think it
stuck.
might have just frozen a little bit on your side.
But the audio is good.
All right. Yeah, so he'd actually written a book, and I took it away and had a wee read of it. It was actually about railways. It was nothing to do with his profession at all, but he was besotted by trains. And it was just really informative about all these railways and train stations, to be fair. But it was sitting in his house, and there was books. There was like shelves of books, some that he had written and some that obviously weren't. But yeah, very, very knowledgeable gentleman.
Wow.
Do you remember that that old advert and things? I'm looking for a book about fly fishing. J.R.
Oh, yeah,
Hartley.
JR, yeah.
It's just that I kind
Yeah.
of hear it, and it touches you because, and who wants it? What's your name? It's J.R. Hartley.
Yeah.
Love that
Yeah.
knowledge, that just wealth knowledge. Just you don't want to lose it. That's what it is.
Definitely not.
It's amazing.
And they light up when they tell you about things like that as well. You could see in their wee faces that they're so enjoying telling you these things, like the guy with the gentleman with the lion and the helicopter.
Yeah.
He just went into so much detail, and just because he could remember it, and it was like yesterday for him, and it was like I could have sat there all night and spoke to him because he was so interesting. The hour went in so fast. I was like, I really have to go now, but I could have sat there all night. I really could have. I should have been waiting to listen to him and his story rather than the other way around. But it was good. It was good.
And I love that you still do the job, because that's so important that you.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Yeah, well, I do
You
cover
have to,
shifts
but-
if people are off sick and their clients need the service. I'll go in when I can. If I can't get any other staff, I'll go in myself and do it. Yeah.
That's very inspirational. You're very inspirational. I think every company should have a director like you, because you are compassionate, you care, and you're fun. That's just all the qualities that a boss should have.
Yeah.
And they don't often know.
I don't think my children would agree with any of those comments like that.
I'm just thinking, I'm on a podcast. I should probably say some stuff about my bosses and things, right?
Yeah.
If they're listening, yeah, you're that as well. You're compassionate and you're nice and whatever. Just give me more money. Don't worry, I say that to them anyway. So yeah, it's fine.
And we need a sponsor. Say.
Yeah, we need a sponsor. And
oh my goodness.
The best speech ever, no?
See, thanks.
Very subtle.
See, that's my banter bit ticked off and stuff for the
That's
day.
You are very funny.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Cheers.
We usually talk at the end. We haven't spoken about the jokes for a long time. It's the thing, because Slovakian jokes are very different. Don't worry, I'm not gonna say any. So,
I haven't even
very morbid and dry, and he hates them. Yeah. He gets so upset when I say.
It's not that I hate them.
You do.
I just feel that you've been probably paying your friends money to kind of laugh at these jokes and things, because I can't see how they're that funny. Does that make sense? So I love you, but we might just.
But your jokes are rubbish.
Thank you.
They're great.
Thank you so much.
That's okay.
It's not.
She hasn't even heard them yet.
Okay.
Yet.
I don't want to hear them now. Thanks very much.
No. Don't worry. I learned my lesson. I'm only saying those back home.
Okay.
All right.
Where people appreciate.
Yeah.
Where they'll laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Yao gives me these looks. What's wrong with you?
Oh dear.
So we're not doing this today. Don't worry, my friend. Marlyn, thank you so much. I'm just gonna say like an official ending, but don't leave it after. By the way, it's better when we don't say bye at the end. I'll just say see you in 2 weeks, and that's where it ends. Yeah, so you don't have to say bye. Okay. So
it's good to know that I can't say bye on a podcast.
No, you can,
right, okay.
but it's better when I edit.
Yeah.
It just comes sounds better when we don't say bye at the end.
Okay.
She
So-
is so the boss, by the way. She is
Oh.
the boss. Definitely.
Wow.
You poor man. You poor man. My God.
I do need the companion. I really do.
He has high blood pressure. You
Yeah.
should have one.
Right,
But
right.
male, yeah, male.
I've got Swedish blonde ones.
Let's talk. Let's
Yeah.
talk. Oh wow. Okay. That's not funny.
So,
Clearly not, right?
sense the tone.
Okay. Oh.
Anyway, I need to go back
Um,
now to the official closing, and then we chat later. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. We don't have Swedish blonde. Just kidding.
It's
No
all
one is
right.
divorced over this, please. Thank you.
Okay. I'm just hoping I'll wake up from sleeping.
I actually might leave this in the episode. It's quite
Okay,
funny.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you so much, Marlyn.
That's okay.
I
you're
can't be
welcome.
serious now, but it's been a real pleasure. Thank you for sharing this, and I'm sure lots of people will find this very, very beneficial and inspirational because, like I said, this is what I don't want to say this is the future again, but it is the future. This kind of service, and I'm glad that we had an opportunity to share it with the world.
Hmm.
And hopefully inspire someone to reach out for help when you need it,
Yeah.
because there's nothing wrong about asking for help. It's the strength, and I know it's a cliche, but it is so true.
No.
Cliches usually are true, no, at the end of the day.
Mhm.
So thank you so much, and if you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review and share it far and wide so it can reach more people. And yeah, that's all. Yeah, would you like to say anything at the end?
No. No, I don't.
Okay.
I want to say farewell and au revoir or whatever, but I'm just not going to say.
Adios.
Exactly.
Adios, amigos.
Exactly, yeah. Ciao.
Ciao. Ahoy. Ahoy. Okay, my
Ciao
friend.
now.
Ciao. Yeah.
Get in.
Actually, you say the final goodbye. Why should it be me all the
I
time?
don't want to.
You don't want to.
Okay.
Okay, my friend. Thank you for staying this long. If you made it until here, you're a hero.
Oh,
And
you've nothing else to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go on.
And see you in 2 weeks.
Ciao.